Welcome to this webinar about flash and DRAM for industrial applications, hosted by Innodisk and Sensor ECS. My name is Lars Christensen, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the magazine Electronic and Data and the associated web platform, and I'll be the moderator for this webinar. On my side, I have Michael Olsgaard, who will take care of the technical aspect regarding the webinar. We will start off with a presentation from Michael Tao from Innodisk. It will be possible for the attendants to ask questions and make comments during the session by writing in the chat section, and Michael will try to address them after the presentation. I think we should head on for a start. Please welcome Michael Tao. Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
Thank you, Lars, for this very nice introduction. I'm doing fine. Welcome to everybody that will join this webinar, and thank you for taking the time to join the webinar. And I will suggest that we just start. Any questions can be answered after the meeting, after the presentation, and feel free to come up with some interesting questions. Let's start the presentation. So you will have all our contact information. Basically two contact persons, one from Innodisk, which is me, and one from Sensor ECS, which is Michael Sloensen. He's waving on the camera, so if you saw him, he is going to answer any questions related to Innodisk and Sensor. To give you an idea what we are going to discuss, I'm going to talk a little bit about business coverage and what makes Innodisk a strong partner for everybody. I'm going to introduce you to some industrial solutions from Innodisk. I'm going to have a couple of AIoT and product examples, which you can implement in your solutions. I'm going to have new product information. And I'm going to have a couple of examples of applications to give you an idea how we are currently working in the world with some big partners to fulfill their application needs. And in the end, we have some time for questions. To start with the business coverage of Innodisk, I think the people that joined today know Innodisk for their flash and their DRAM, but we do not only have flash and DRAM. Let me get my laser pointer so I can show you. Of course, the DRAM, which we have in embedded high temperature, customization and server solutions, and our flash in a lot of different solutions, which I will elaborate a little bit further on. We also have EP products, which are called embedded peripheral products. These products are used to give an extra extension port to one of your IPC solutions, for example, an extra PCI Express storage solution, communication, an extra display port, for example. But Innodisk also has a couple of other sister companies called Militronic, Anser, Cecino, and Etina. To start off with Etina is our industrial graphics card partner. If you are in need of NVIDIA solutions like graphics card or small form factor mainboards, Etina can help you with this. Cecino is a company that makes environmental sensor solutions. Ansertech makes in-vehicle communication solutions, including tracking and everything. And Militronic gives you high-powered WiGig wireless communications. If there are any questions related to this, I can share all the company information, including roadmaps and everything, to give you an idea what is possible. But what makes Innodisk special with the benefits we offer? Of course, technical support is not something special that we as Innodisk only offer. This is offered by everybody. But we do have local technical support, which is located in Holland. And they take care of any issues that arise. Some customers, they require a fixed BOM because they have a project that runs for a couple of years. And Innodisk can, together with their partners like Samsung, Micron, Kioxia, work together to create a fixed BOM. And we do this by creating a custom part number for our customers. Responsiveness, basically this is me. If there's any questions, for example, coming from Michael Sloensen from Sensor, I give him the right information, the right advice on how and what products he should use. And everybody is also welcome to ask basically any question, and I will do my best to answer them in any way to give you the right solution for your challenge. We have an industrial grade factories actually, because we have two at this moment. One is located in Taipei and one is located in Yilang, and we make all our own products. We purchase the raw materials like flash IC and DRAM IC from our A-grade vendors, and then we create everything by ourselves. A big part that makes Innodisk special is customization. Let's say you have a project where the solution needs to be in a dark chamber and there cannot be any LEDs on the device, which make the room light up. We can make customizations in very low quantities, starting from 5 pieces already, where we, for example, remove an LED, or where we implement conformal coating, or we can even go as far as creating customized PCB for our customers. So this is something that makes Innodisk very special. There is no need in purchasing 10,000 pieces if you need something customized. We can do this in very small quantity because we have our own factories and make everything ourselves. We have an in-house firmware team. So if you ever run into an issue with one of our products, our in-house firmware team can help you, but they can also create customized firmware versions for you. And you will see this later on in some of the examples that I have. Longevity support, we can offer this because we work together with 8-tier vendors. Basically, we get their roadmaps, and based on those roadmaps, we can predict how long products will be available. Financial stability, well, we are a company that's been around for a pretty long time already. So we are doing fine. Business continuity, we have several options for recovery and backup sites to protect shutdowns and power cuts in our production facility. So this is the benefits that Innodisk offers. We have a stable reputation already. We know what we're doing. And I think if you ever ask these questions also to Sensor ECS, they can confirm everything that's written here. So the next part we're going to talk about is our products themselves. And I'm not going to discuss everything purely in detail, because in the end, we will share the presentation with everybody so everybody can get the information. But to give you an idea what we can offer, this is our list of flash products. We can offer everything from simple USB devices, micro SD cards, PATA solutions. And why would we still offer PATA solutions? In the industrial sector, there's a lot of people that have projects running that use old legacy stuff. And with these solutions that we have, we offer them a replacement in the form of an SSD or a compact flash card or an EDC solution. We have the normal SATA and PCI Express solutions. This is the most new line that we have, which is already available for a long time. But we also offer a couple of specific functionalities on our devices. Power loss protection on our flash devices. And what else is important to mention? Longevity support. This is what I mentioned already in the previous slide. Very important for us. Customized firmware and optimized firmware for specific industrial applications. For example, we have specific firmware for video recording solutions, where we give a high constant write speed to all our products that are certified for this. If you look at the flash comparison, there is, of course, a couple of different solutions in flash. And I don't want to go into really technical detail. If you want to get more information, we can discuss this afterwards, because this slide alone, I can talk around 15 minutes regarding it. But we have SLC, ISLC, MLC, and 3D TLC. And in short, SLC is the most expensive product in the market for flash, which is used especially for heavy workload in really small files like logging. If you do a lot of logging, I suggest to always use an SLC file. But the downside is capacity is low and the price is really high. ISLC is a combination of MLC and 3D TLC, where it works as SLC. Advantages of this is that they are cheaper than SLC and they have a higher capacity compared to SLC. MLC is a solution that has been in the market for a long time already, but MLC is going end of life in 2024. So if you're ever going to spec in new projects, my suggestion is to go to 3D TLC. The differences between the two are not that high anymore compared to a couple of years ago. So you get higher capacity, cheaper pricing, and you get, for example, similar PE cycles, the amount of times the device can be rewritten before it starts to fail. If you go to the next product lineup, it's DRAM, and this is a solution that we offer in a complete lineup. Simple embedded solutions, server memory like RDIMM, wide temperature solutions. We offer those in the standard versions that are delivered from Samsung, for example, but we also have our sorting wide temperature. Basically, we use the normal embedded memory chips. We test them in our own testing facilities so that they can work from -45 to +85 degrees, and we sell them as wide temperature solutions. We offer the same warranty, which is lifetime on our products, and the products are a little bit cheaper. So sometimes customers come to us and they ask, yeah, but we need really wide temperature solutions, but the price is just too high, and then we can offer a simpler solution. Customization memory, meaning rugged DIMMs, XR DIMMs, for example, military solutions that require customization, where we do a couple of add-ons like conformal coating. And this way we can also make custom design again. What Innodisk is using is always the highest quality original ICs. You will see in the market that sometimes our products are a little bit more expensive, but this is mainly because we only focus on the best of the best. We are an industrial solution manufacturer. We don't want to use products that are not good enough according to our standards. Very important. Next one that we have is EP, embedded peripherals, and we have them in a couple of different solutions. Storage solutions, so extra storage availability in SATA and USB. A disk array where you can create a RAID solution. We have different kind of display outputs. There's an onboard 2D graphics chip that gives you an extra 2D image. Can be used, for example, in a factory where you have one system and a big conveyor belt where you need to have 2 or 3 displays connected. Communication in different versions, LAN, serial, CAN bus, etc. And we have AI, Intel Movidius Myriad. They use a small onboard CPU, which does some offloading on the CPU to get different AI solutions. For example, a camera solution that is on the road, and it can detect what kind of vehicle is there, count the amount of vehicles. And then last but not least, we have also software. We have 2 different kind of versions, an edge, meaning that it's locally run on your computer, and a cloud managed solution. Let me start with the edge utility. The most important that we have is iSmart, and iSmart is a piece of software that you can install to read information about the Innodisk devices that are in there. So you can read the usage of your SSD, how long it is still available before it might break down, etc. Then we have different kind of solutions for RAID module monitoring, encrypting of drives, and iCover, which is a system recovery and backup solution. But we also have a functionality called iCap. iCap is the same as iSmart, but it's a cloud solution. So if you have, like, for example, 50 systems in the field, and those 50 systems need to be monitored, you can use something like this. To give an example, in China, we have, it's very popular to have like soda machines on the streets. And those soda machines are using an Innodisk solution, for example, an mSATA solution, and it's all monitored by the iCap solution. So there's like thousands and thousands of those things in China. And with this, there's no need to send an engineer over to check if the SSD is still capable, still working, if it reached its maximum PE cycle. No, with this, you have a local solution where it sends out email messages and warns you if a disk is breaking down. So the engineer can go there when it's almost time to change the device. This saves money, this saves time for the engineer, and overall, it saves the downtime of the machines themselves. That's it. And now we're going to talk a little bit about IoT, which is the magic word in the field at this moment. Everything is IoT. And Innodisk is, of course, also working with this. So to give you an idea, in the beginning, we started with a simple IPC market. We have a simple computer, which is in the factory doing its thing. If it breaks down, somebody goes there. But after that, we have a vertical market, which is networking, aerospace, medical, military, gaming. So it's getting more and more. And for all these markets, there's different requirements for the devices that we are going to make. And after that, we can go to the IoT market, which goes to smart surveillance, smart vehicle solutions, smart cities, smart factories, smart medical. So as you can see, the market was simple, but grows more and more demanding, on which Innodisk is one of the companies that helps you with this. So in the beginning, just a simple hardware module was there. We sold a flash device and we sold a DRAM device, done, that's it. When it breaks down, we fix it. So next, we go to a device or a complete solution. We are not only depending on our own sales, but we are depending on partners that sell a complete solution. And for the solution, there might actually be a specific firmware request, which we can make. And then when we go to AIoT, it's going to be smart. We're going to need to create a piece of software that manages everything, like the ICAP solution that I discussed. And we need to think in a platform solution so we can sell a separate module. And that's where the EP products come in. So overall, we create a hardware value up, meaning we have the quality, the expertise, and the products available for you to be available. Solutions, we think with you. We give different customizations so your products actually are fitting into the vertical market. And in the end, you will get a value up because you use A-grade components. You work with partners like Sensor ECS that can give you the complete solution. And this is how we are working in IoT at the moment. To give you an idea of a product from Innodisk that is it's been released in the beginning, the middle of last year. It's called InnoOSR and InnoH. And this is a very nifty hard drive. Sorry, not a hard drive, an SSD, because we don't work with hard drives anymore. But let's say you're in the factory and you get this screen. Uh-oh, Windows 10 failed and your system is not working anymore. So how can this happen? Abnormal power cycle in the factory. People just shut down by not shutting down in a normal way. They just push a button, everything is shut down. Improper operation, malware infections can happen, software conflicts if they install something that has not been tested before, or they even run into driver issues. So what are we doing to counter this? We have two solutions. One is called InnoH. This is a disk that is workable in the cloud. Oh, wait, it's workable in the cloud. So let's say, for example, you need Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services, and then this device can be visible and maintained via the cloud. And InnoOSR is a local solution. Now, what do they do? And I need to check the next slide if I'm doing something wrong here. No, this is correct. So what the devices do is an operating system recovery and on-site recovery. So let's say a firmware update was done or a software update was done and something went horribly wrong and overnight, and your factory is not running anymore in the morning. So we have two solutions for this. One is called InnoH, which can be monitored, for example, by the ICAP software that I talked about. And then you simply tell the disk, which is built up of two partitions. One is your current operating system, and the second partition is an invisible backup partition. So you tell the device, which is connected via Wi-Fi or via an Ethernet controller directly to the SSD, that it needs to start recovering. So you can do with a simple click of a button, you can recover it. It will take around 5 to 10 minutes, depending, of course, how big your initial OS partition is. The system will then trigger an automatic reset, and your system is up and running to your initial OS or your initial software setup. Now, if you do not have a solution where you use Microsoft Azure or AWS or any cloud solution, but want to work locally, we have something called InnoOSR. It does exactly the same, but as you can see in the previous picture, it uses a button. So if you push the button for a set amount of time, and we can configure this for you, being it 5 seconds, 10 seconds, half a minute, for example, if you push it, it will automatically start to recover the hidden partition to your now dysfunctional main partition. And all this can be done by an initial piece of software that we deliver with the disk, where you set up everything one time. So you make a backup, and then you can decide to make a backup weekly, 2 weeklies, bi-monthly, or whatever you want. And with InnoH, you can even push a new software solution to the disk via the internet. So if you want to have more information regarding this, and these are 2 very interesting products, for InnoH, we have a live demo running. You can basically connect through it via the internet, and then you can play with it and actually see how it works. And you're most welcome to test this, and just let me or Michael know that you're interested in this, and then we will set up something. InnoOSR, since this is a local solution, I don't have anything set up because it's useless, because it's not connected to the internet. But with this, we can arrange samples if you want to do something like this in a project. Now, this is short in IoT. The next one that I have is introducing 2 new problems that we have. And of course, we are introducing new products all the time, but these are the latest that we have introduced actually. U.2 SSD introduction. What is U.2 actually? U.2 is, in simple layman terms, a 2.5-inch SSD using the PCI Express form factor to reach high speeds. It can be compared to M.2. M.2 is a product that most of the people already know, and it gives you the advantage of the form factor of 2.5-inch with the big advantage of PCI Express communication. So why would you want U.2? Bigger capacities due to form factor. You can simply put more flash IC in here to create 2, 4, 8 terabyte at the moment. At the moment, we start with 2 terabyte maximum, but we are upgrading it to 4 and 8 terabyte, so you can have really high capacity solutions. U.2 supports hot swap functionality, where M.2 does not, because you need to open the system and take out the module. This is especially handy in a RAID solution, so keep that in mind. The downside is, and since we are working in the industrial sector, you need a motherboard with a U.2 connector, and this is slowly getting more and more available in the market. So when you look to this solution, make sure you have the right mainboard. We have 2 different versions. We have one with standard temperature, which uses enterprise NAND. And if you can remember one of the first slides I showed you for 3D TLC, this device has a 10K PE cycle, meaning that it can be rewritten 10,000 times before the flash IC actually starts to fill. And we have a wide temperature with industrial grade, but only has a 3K PE cycle. Keep that in mind. The next product that we have is iSLC based on 3D TLC. And this is an advantage if your customer wants to have a high PE cycle, so a high rewritability, for a more affordable price compared to SLC. And since MLC is going end of life, we have introduced this version, which is basically available in whatever you want. 2.5-inch mSATA, M.2, CFAS, SATA-DOM, in wide temperature and normal temperature. And we are also working on a BiCS4 solution. What is the difference between BiCS3 and BiCS4? It's the amount of layers in the flash chip, meaning the more layers, the more storage you have, and the cheaper the price of the storage is on BiCS4. We have 2 different versions, one without DRAM and one with a DRAM solution. And the one without DRAM is a simple solution that you can use for an operating system solution or by storing large files. And the 3i6, which is a version with DRAM, is usually used to do some logging because of the DRAM buffer that's in there. Gives you the advantage of doing more better logging. So these are an example of 2 new products. We always share the latest roadmaps with the Sensor ECS. So if you ever want to be kept up to date, feel free to ask Sensor with the latest roadmaps, and then they can share it with you. And if you have any questions based on those roadmaps, feel free to contact us. The last couple of slides, I'm going to talk about application and technologies and some live examples to give you an idea what kind of customization we can do. And here you can see an overview of the application and technologies, aerospace, embedded solutions, server applications, etc. And here you can see all kind of customization that we can do on each device. So for example, take aerospace. We have a functionality called iCell. What this is a power loss protection function. So let's say there's a power outage, but you're writing data in the DRAM buffer of the flash solution. The capacitors on board of the device make sure that all the data is written to the actual flash IC, so you do not lose any information. Conformal coating can also be used in the military, for example, where we need sort of waterproofness. iData Guard, similar as iCell, but it uses a way to double check if you boot up the system, if there is enough power going to the disk. If there's not enough power to the disk, it will wait a little bit longer before booting up until the system has been in the normal power function. InnoRobust is a functionality where we can implement conformal coating, vibration functionality with side fill. And side fill is something where which you can see also over here on networking, is where we put a special acrylic coating on the side of each flash IC chip. So if there's vibration, that it doesn't dislodge the chip. What else do we have? That's interesting to mention. Garbage collection and trim, we had that done. Another thing that we can do, which is very important, we also have a couple of functionalities that can help you quickly delete the disks. Sometimes customers have a very sensitive solution where they need to delete information, and this is done in different ways. You can either completely destroy the disk by giving it a power surge where all the flash IC, the controller, everything is completely destroyed, where you then have to throw away the disk because it's non-recoverable. We have a delete function where we can simply use military protocol rewriting solutions. This takes a little bit longer, but with this, we write everything to zeros to ones, and all the data is non-recoverable anymore. So we also have these kind of solutions available. Now, last but not least, I want to go together with you to some solutions that we have, and these are located all over the world, but this is one that is using InnoH, where they have a suburban solution where a couple of different challenges were available. It was a harsh environment, so you can imagine that we will need something by using wide temperature. It's difficult to do the maintenance and monitoring because it's outside, it's not in an inhabited area. A lot of data is needed because they use a drone to make pictures of the outside of the fields in this case. There's a lot of OS crashes. This is done because there's with power shutdowns, etc. And there is not enough manpower requirement. So you need a solution that is basically available online and which is able to be monitored in a way that if it actually needs maintenance, it tells you in advance. So for this solution, we actually implemented InnoH, which is connected to a 3G or 4G or 5G solution, where it can communicate with the main company. We have DRAM, which is registered ECC, to make sure that none of the data that is coming in is corrupted in any way. And we use wide temp and anti-sulfuration. Anti-sulfuration is a functionality on our DRAM modules, where in areas where there is more sulfur in the air, it will make sure that the DRAM module is not corroding. So this solution, we gave together with our partner a complete package in 2.5-inch M.2 solutions to give them an answer to basically all the challenges that they have. Next one is also another one in Japan. This is an IoT solution where this is used to communicate with actually the ambulances in a city. And because in Japan you have a lot of big buildings, so there's not always a good GPS signal available. But also there's always an issue where they do not have enough cell phone towers available to communicate and send in all the data. So in this user scenario, they actually had a lot of ambulances running around, and they were not able to transfer all the needed data fast enough to the hospital so that the hospital can prepare for their customers. So with this solution, a picocell solution, we needed to create a very small form factor where iCap can be used to read out all the information, and all the ambulances can then be monitored via the 4G or 5G solution, where they are, how fast they are going, where they are at the moment, and how fast they are arriving at the hospital. For this, we needed a fast DRAM solution, which we have. DDR4 3200 is the fastest at the moment. We use, as mentioned before, ISLC because it uses a lot of small amount of data, and you need some flash that is capable of working with this. And this way we offered two products that could help the customers make a complete solution by installing everything in a small form factor of picocell. But everything that you saw in these two slides does not need any customization. These are just products that we have. The next IDs are where you will see a little bit of more customization. So an automated toll system, which is implemented in Taiwan. The challenges that they have was to keep the operating costs down. A lot of data needs to be written. Why a lot of data? Because there's cameras making pictures of the cars to see if they have a sticker on their windshield, to see if they actually are a registered payer. And they have difficulties monitoring the lifespan of the devices. So what do we do? Because they have pictures, it takes a lot of data. So a simple SLC solution would simply not be a viable solution here. So we use the 3D TLC solution. But as you know, 3D TLC has a very low PE cycle compared to SLC. So what we did here is make a custom firmware so it can deal with heavy load, meaning high amounts of pictures written to the disk. And because there's a constant stream of cars, you need a specific write speed on this disk to keep up with all the data that's coming in. So we made a customized firmware for this specific customer where they have a constant write speed that is sufficient for all the pictures that come in. And this algorithm firmware also makes sure that it does not write unnecessary information to the flash disk for quicker degrading of the system. And because they have a difficulty monitoring in a lifespan, we use again an iCap solution by monitoring it remotely. So the result is that we used our products in this solution, and it's running currently in Taiwan. So this is a very interesting project that we had. The next one is safety through customization. This is a nice one because we made a custom MSATA device that's been fitted into MRI and NMR devices. And as you know, an MRI is a big magnet. And if you use a magnetic component in there, it will completely be ripped out and everything is broken. So what we did for this solution, we made a custom PCB where we removed all the magnetic components. We manufactured it in a strict quality process, meaning in our own factory, of course, but we made sure there is absolutely no magnetized devices in there. And we use iSmart on the local computer to monitor the device safety. So this gives you an idea of the possibilities that Innodisk actually have to think outside of the box. And of course, this is not only 5 pieces because this is implemented into multiple MRI scanners all across the region. And this is one of the projects that is where Innodisk is very proud of what we were able to achieve. Making roads safer with AIoT license plate readers. So we basically use a solution where we read all the cars that come over, so we can have a good idea of it's a busy road, when it's busy, if there is a lot of traffic in heavy vehicles, for example, in a certain period, so you know that you need to open an extra road. So what were the challenges that were there? Traffic monitoring. It needs to endure a harsh outdoor climate. That's logical because it's outside. So it needed to be at least -5 to 6 degrees. It needs to be connected to the police database to actually compare any known number plates with the bad guys. And it needs to actually send out information to the control center, so people know, hey, somebody's driving past here. This is a bad guy. We need to get him. So we have an Innodisk SSD with rackline. Rackline is a functionality where we make sure that there's a constant write speed. Make sure that we are not losing any frames when recording the disk. We needed a wide temperature SSD and DRAM with conformal coating because it's outside. So there is a chance that there is some moisture coming in. We use one of Athena's Jetson GPUs because it's a small form factor solution, but this is a very high powerful device to do all the ALPR, so all the video processing, and the backend again is used, is called iCap, to monitor all the trailers that are connected, so we can see when something is going to break down. So not a lot of customization on the devices here, but still a solution where we use our knowledge of everything to give a solution to the customer. I have two more and then we're done. Machine vision technology, where we use our devices for the food industry. Not really a customization again, but because of high humidity, we use wide temperature solutions with conformal coating. Machine vision systems. This is again using Athena, the Jetson computing platform, with an industrial integrated camera. So together with our partners, we can actually offer a complete solution already. And we use machine vision to read the barcodes with the camera that's implemented. And last but not least, this one is actually running in a European country. And also in an Australian country, where we use our high performance 3D NAND solutions, high capacity, 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte, where we use them inside the trains for surveillance. So if some people are causing an issue, they use these kind of solutions for monitoring the situation. And I have way more things that I can tell you, but since I'm limited in time and I already am over with it by 5 minutes, I want to end it now. I want to end with at least our contact information. We have an overview of everybody that joined this presentation, and I will make sure that everybody will get this presentation, including all the contact information. And let's move on to the questions. That's it. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention so far.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. Very interesting. Really shows that storage is the heart of many systems. We tend to talk about processing and everything, but storage is, yeah, a big part of a system. I've started up with a little bit more short technical one. You mentioned InnoH, this hybrid SSD solution for remote management, which I find very interesting. Does it work with Linux as well, or could you?
Yeah. To give you an example, all the InnoH and InnoOSR devices are OS independent, so it can use with Windows and basically any version of Linux. You set it up with a specific tool that is developed for one of those OSs, and after that it works, because with InnoOSR you push a button, and with InnoH you use a web solution to interface with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A little bit related, but you need a cloud solution. Which cloud solution are supported? I think you mentioned.
Yeah, I mentioned it already. The first one is Microsoft Azure. Amazon Web Services is also supported, but together with some customers, and if they have a personal cloud solution, our engineers can help set up basically on any of their personal cloud solutions.
Okay.
So we are really versatile in this kind of solutions.
Okay. Is that a complex work?
It is not an easy task to set up a personal cloud solution. So it will take some time, and there are some limitations. But this, because it's a personal cloud solution, it's not really easy to come up with all the answers at this moment. It's a case-by-case solution.
Okay. You mentioned it's very interesting to hear the various scenarios. You had some examples from that. But in general, these smart vertical applications, do you see, is there a new type of customers that you normally haven't addressed or been in contact popping up with these kind of new, there's a lot of room for innovation and
correct. It's the most weird part when some of these customers pop. There's always room for new customers, but to give you an idea, last week or 2 weeks ago, a customer popped up of which I never thought they would purchase Innodisk. It's a manufacturer of audio solutions, high-end audio solutions. But they are using, they require a specific DRAM module. And for some reason they popped up, and I called the guy and I said, hey, this and this, why do you actually want this? Because we use specific audio requirements. We need registered DRAM of high quality. And of course, I can supply this. And we had a very nice talk on the phone. He explained to me how and what. And in the end, we actually came to a very good conclusion, and I received a new customer in this way. So yes, in the vertical market, there's always room for expanding more and more customers that you never expect.
Okay. Yeah, the audio market is big in Denmark. Maybe.
Maybe it's good. Michael, please note.
Why are you here? As everybody is aware of, there's a worldwide shortage of components. I know it's not the topic of this presentation, but Michael, now you're here.
Yeah.
Could you, in broad terms, explain how it's affecting Innodisk and, in that respect, your customers? Yeah.
I think, as everybody knows, it's a worldwide disaster at the moment. It's never been this bad. I would be lying to say if we are not affected, which we are. And the biggest problem we currently have is DRAM. DDR3 is one of the modules that's used in the industrial sector a lot, and this is a huge shortage. Why is this a shortage? The main manufacturing houses, Samsung, Micron, etc., they simply see the request for DDR4. There's way more requests than this, and there's way more money to be made on this. So this is one of the things where they did not stop producing DDR3, but they are slowly phasing it out. So they put less and less emphasis on it. And that's a bad news for our market, because in the industrial market, we use legacy stuff, which is older stuff, and we still need DDR3. So this is the biggest issue at the moment. We get batches of DDR3 coming in once in a while, so we still can deliver, but not in the quantities that we could.
So it's more a technology shift there than...
It's a technology shift, correct. And normally it wouldn't go so fast, because it would be... But because we have shortage now and there's not enough production facility in the market, they have to choose what to do. The car industry, for example, uses way more DDR4, and with DDR4, we currently cannot supply 8, 16, and 32 gigabyte above 2400 speed, because there's no availability in the market. There's PlayStations out there, new Xboxes out there, mobile phones are coming, and everybody uses the high memory request. And we still get stuff, but it's on allocation at the moment. And this is the same story for Flash, especially on MLC. Like I mentioned already, MLC is going EOL in 2024. So there's no emphasis anymore from manufacturers on MLC. So we shift to 3D TLC, but 3D TLC is used by everybody in the market at the moment. So there's a small shortage in there. But so far, Flash is not as affected as DRAM. And for Flash, the most common products we still should be able to deliver between 6 to 8 weeks. If we look at an MLC, which is still a valid product in our industrial market, it's already at 16 plus weeks. But this is very good news compared to what I heard in the market. Some mainboard manufacturers, power supply manufacturers, they're already reporting 20 to 30 plus weeks of delivery time. So if you look at this that way, then we are pretty fast still.
Okay.
And that's the shortest situation at this moment. My advice is to everybody, if you need something and you need something quick, do not wait too long with ordering anymore. You will be placed in line, but the longer you wait, the further you're back in line. And this way, there's still a chance to.
That's always been the case.
That's always been the case, but
forecast is king.
True, but it's not been the case in the previous years because we were able to deliver whatever was requested from customers, even bigger quantity, 5K, 10K pieces. We make a special appointment saying we deliver it in a couple of batches, but it's still available. And now I simply sometimes have to say no, and that's something I'd rather not do.
Yeah. Do you think that the customers has been spoiled by having this
no, it's not like that. It's the problem is the market at the moment. There's a couple of different cases all together where we have COVID now, of course, which affects it. The automotive industry that needs more and more and did a wrong calculation mistake in the past. So we had power outages, factories that made wrong batches, etc. And this way, everything came together, and we have the most serious shortage ever now. And it's not only on flash IC, but also controllers, for example, and components that go onto PCB. So overall, it's everything that came together, and now we are in this mess.
Yeah. And you mentioned, of course, to stay on top, try to make your orders.
Always. That's what I always say. Yes.
Yeah. Of course, is there any other advice besides that you would give to
the biggest advice that I can currently have is, if you have new projects, go with the latest available technologies. Go with DDR4, go with 3D TLC. Do not stick with MLC and DDR3 unless you really have to.
Okay.
There is so many alternatives to MLC at this moment, and DDR3 is going EOL. No fixed date yet, but I expect something like 2024, 2025 by the big houses. Then smaller production houses will start still manufacturing DDR3, but pricing will go up for sure.
Okay. So stay in front of the technology.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Good advice. Okay, I'll look. I don't see there's any other questions coming in right now.
Okay.
So I think we will wrap up. Say thank you very much for a very interesting presentation and talk. And the presentation will be available from you and of course Sensor ECS and ECS and you will always support with. Yeah.
And if there's any questions, I will send out to all the contact persons here. I will talk with Michael Sloensen from ECS to include everything in the newsletter, so we can share this information to everybody. And all the people that have joined will be personally send an email by either me or Marie from who's doing the marketing from Sensor ECS.
Okay.
I
think I'll say.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody for joining.
Yeah. See you soon and have a nice day.
Yo. Bye bye.
Bye bye.